Welcome again. So now it's time to actually get into what we paid for and what we paid to learn. This, like I said, is a digital skill, and we're about to mix and measure our resin. Now this is a disposable cup. Like I said before, you put it on the scale. You can see that it's not reading anything, which is how it's supposed to be. Your disposable cup on the scale should not have any reading whatsoever, so it doesn't mess with your measurements. Now you're going first with our resin. For the purpose of this class, I would be measuring about 50 grams of this resin. It's just for a keychain, so let's just do 50 grams. What's that? Okay, so I had everything. 50 would be a bit much for a keychain, so let's do 30 instead. So we're on 28 now. We just add a little bit more, and yes, we're on 30, 31. So we're going to use our wooden spatula. This is already done. And please, resin is a liquid plastic. It's not a very healthy product to work with. It's not a very healthy product to work with, so you should also always make sure you have your gloves on. It can be very sticky, so always have your gloves on, so you also don't put it into your mouth by mistake or anything. So even if you don't do it with your gloves, let's assume you become an expert and you don't really need your gloves anymore, always wash your hands while you do this. So we have 31 grams of resin here. Now, because I'm used to doing it, normally I would have taken another disposable cup and measured a separate hardener into this, just for clarity's sake. But I'm going to do it in a way that is easier and will save you buying disposable cups every time. Now, like I said, this is a beginner friendly training. So sorry, this went off. Okay, so now it's showing 34 grams, but we know that it's 31 grams. Ignore the scale, it can be messy sometimes. So now you take your hardener. According to the rule of a 2-to-1 ratio, we had 31 grams of resin, which means we're going to add just 15 grams of the hardener. You don't have to do 15.5, just 15 grams is fine. So what you do in this case is, you already have 31 here. You recalibrate your digital scale, and then it goes back to 0. Even with the resin on it, it goes back to 0. Now you measure 15. Now you have to be very careful when you are putting in your hardener, because the more hardener you put, the thicker it will be, and that now makes you start working with time. You have to now like race against time to use it, because your hardener would already start making the resin into the finished product without you. So instead of doing that, so you don't have to be in a hurry, just be very careful with how you are pouring in your hardener, so you don't have to rush. So now that we have this is a resin and a hardener mixed together, we will go into mixing it. Now when you're mixing resin and hardener, you mix it slowly. Please don't rush. You're not turning semo or amala, as the case may be. Don't rush. Now while we're turning it like this, it looks like it's time consuming, or it looks like you're wasting your time, but why you are doing this slowly is to avoid bubbles. Once you get bubbles into your resin, you would find that your finished product will not look as nice. So that is why we always insist that you use a spatula and mix slowly and gently. Now when you're mixing, you get the edges as well, and try to mix it in properly. Now one thing I'm going to mention is the temperature of wherever it is you're working also matters when you're doing this. If you're in a place that is very hot, it will take longer for it to cure. That's what we call it. When hardener and resin is mixed together and gets hard, it's called curing. Now in this case, where I am is not hot and it's not cold either, so it's just, you know, proper temperature. So you mix this slowly and slowly and slowly. If you look inside of it, you keep mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing until. So now that we've mixed our resin and hardener together, normally you're supposed to let it sit for a couple minutes. Now when it sits for a couple minutes, what happens is that you feel it getting warm. You feel the resin and hardener getting warm. This mixture will start getting warm. Now this one is not warm yet, so we're just going to set it for some minutes so that it gets warm. Now the essence of setting it down is for it to naturally remove these bubbles itself. So sometimes when you put it down and just let it, it's easier for you to stir at that point, because now you are not going to be getting any bubbles in it. Although later on, before we pour, or after we have poured the resin, after we've mixed colors and whatever, after we've poured the resin, you would also be shown how to use a heat gun or a lighter to remove the bubbles from this if you still have bubbles. So don't be so worried about the bubbles here, because there is a solution for it. Now you can also just go ahead and mix whatever color you want to mix into this yourself. If you don't have the time to sit and let it just get warm as well, maybe you are in a hurry or something, you can just decide to start mixing your colors, and then you deal with the bubbles later with a heat gun or a lighter.